Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Medium's Table. I'm your host, Michelle Gardner. This podcast is your personal invitation to join me at the intersection of the everyday and the extraordinary. Together, we'll explore the magic of mediumship, share spiritual stories, and connect with fellow mediums on this incredible journey. So grab a seat, pour yourself a cuppa, and come join us at the Medium's Table, where spirits gather and stories unfold. Disclaimer, just a heads up to all our lovely followers. Our social media is a space where we share personal stories, including those of various mediums. Let's keep the vibe positive and respect each other's beliefs. Every journey is unique, and here we celebrate the diversity of experiences. I'd like to welcome to the show Brian. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for having me. I've been watching it for a couple months now and just really enjoy it. So
yeah, and you've been active on the page, which is where I've gone, oh, what's this man doing? And you've caught my attention, and then I've realized you were linked to Julie, and I'm like, what are they up to here?
I will do what I can to help promote Julie.
Yeah. Oh, she's pretty special. She is that one. She's special. And I then discovered that you had a paranormal page and everything else that's unfolded, but we don't want to give too much away just yet. So I'd love for you to tell the audience what it is that you do.
I'm a paranormal researcher and investigator, and I also do cryptid research and investigating as well.
Nice.
So I also do energy healing work, Reiki, data healing, integrated energy therapy. So it's been a fun ride the last few years. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I can imagine the energy, all of that energy work and doing the energy healing would put you in a really great position for paranormal investigating in feeling energies.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's always that the whole paranormal thing it has so many questions. Anyway, I'll try not to ask them while you're talking, and we'll wait.
I still have questions.
And do you find it's a case of the more answers you get, the more questions you have?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just never
one of the places I go camping at, every time it's something different. It's like, I came looking for answers and getting more questions than answers. Yeah.
But that's what keeps us on the hunt, isn't it? That's what keeps us wanting more, coming back for more. And there's always then the wow factor happens and you think, oh my God, I need more of that. And it just becomes addictive, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, I would love for you to tell the audience basically your life story. How was it that you got into all of this?
Dumb luck, I think. No, I guess, growing up, I was like the outcast, one always left behind. But, over the years, I had my parents' house. I used to have my computer sitting at the desk, and for whatever reason, I would feel my one uncle come around the corner from the stairway. And I had a couple times where I would feel, I thought it was him coming around, and turn around and nobody there. I'm going, huh. Okay. Yes. So you kind of started to feel that coming through there. And then after that, I had moved to another house with my ex-wife, and I knew we had a spirit there. I could feel him staring at me from the stairs all the time. He's sitting there watching TV or reading a book and just feeling behind it. And at one point, my son's birthday party, I had my one daughter. It got quiet in the house with all the kids there. It was quiet. I'm like, okay. But my one daughter come down and she said, "There's a man in the attic." What do you mean there's a man in the attic? So I get up there and all the kids are gathered around one spot in the attic, and of course there's nobody there. But it's like, all right, everybody downstairs, let's go. But you knew there was somebody there. But the fact that my kids got to see him, it was kind of interesting. And over the years, when my son started high school, the high school had a paranormal group.
That's so cool. I love that.
So
what high school does that? I mean, seriously, I don't know if that's a thing there, but it's definitely not a thing here. That's awesome.
I started helping out with that. And over the years with doing that, I met somebody else that was helping out. His mom worked at the school, so he was helping out with that too. And they got connected with a paranormal group. And then I got with the group as well. So it's like it just kind of kept continuing from there. And at the point now, I have my own paranormal, and I pulled a lot of the other guys that were in first paranormal group with me, and brought a few others over to help with like the cryptid stuff. But yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. So were your parents into any of this? Like what drew you to be more aware, I guess, or aware to begin with all this stuff? Like, is this something that you could share with them?
Uh, I don't recall ever sharing anything with them, but I know one of my mom's cousins did astrology and stuff, so there is something there in the family. My mom had one time when her mom had passed away that all the lights flickered in the house, so she knew that at that point that her mom had passed. So she had an experience with that. But
Yeah, right.
I was kind of always interested in like the unknown stuff. Just kind of intrigued my mind.
Yeah. So how old were you when you had your first paranormal experience, when you first saw or felt something?
It would have been early 20s.
Okay. So it wasn't like, some people go, oh, you have to be born into this or, all that sort of thing. So this was something that happened as an adult.
Right. I don't think you need to be born into it. I think we all have some kind of ability that we usually lock up. You know, and I know for me, it was being an empath and didn't realize how much of an empath I was with the feeling part. I would always take on people's emotions, and it drove me nuts until I learned more about it and be able to control it better.
Yeah. And have you found that as the years have gone on, your circle of friends have changed, the people that you're drawn to changes?
Absolutely. Yeah, it changed dramatically. Yeah, with getting into the holistic part and meeting all new friends with there, and I had more of a connection with these people because I could talk more about me, and they understood everything, so that made it easier.
Yeah. It becomes a case of what once may have sounded weird to some people, when you find that right group
Right,
of friends,
right,
nothing you say is weird anymore.
right. Yeah, I've had Julie say that to me a couple of times. She goes, "You're gonna think I'm weird," but I go, "Just tell me what you feel, and we can go from there." Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll never think she's weird.
I love that. And that's probably why, and you would have seen I call her my weird and wonderful friend, because she's always coming
Yeah,
up with something that's like, where are you getting this from? But there you go. She hangs around people like you who normalize this, which is really great. And I think this should be normal. So your kids, are they able to come to you now? Like, do they feel a lot of things? Obviously, they've had the experience of the man in the attic. Like, what wouldn't put
yeah,
any parent on edge with that?
yeah. My youngest daughter had seen also in my parents' house, and my youngest niece, and it scared them, and they actually blocked it from there, so they kind of stopped seeing. So it's like I'm trying to get. It's like, look, you saw them for a reason. It's nothing to be scared about. But yeah, they all have something.
Yeah. And your parents, so you're saying your daughter saw something in your parents' house.
Mhm.
Did your parents feel that or see it? Are they aware of that?
No, they're the older generation. They kind of don't pay any attention to those things.
Wow. Do they do they just think, are they the sort of parents, and I don't know them, so I don't know, that sort of go, oh, it's just your imagination, or do they believe?
Uh, yes and no. So it was kind of a mix of both. I think they start once my youngest daughter and niece started. They kind of my mom at least started to believe more. And knowing what I do, kind of started to change things with her. So.
Yeah. I love that. And isn't it great to know that your kids have you to come to and as we say, not feel weird, but it's normal to have this discussion or have these discussions about things they may have seen, heard, or felt. And they can share that with you openly and not feel like they're going to be ridiculed, embarrassed. Again, like you said, it's weird. It must be such a relief for them to know that you've got their back. You know what I mean? You're on their side.
Yeah, I know with my kids when they were growing up, I knew I couldn't treat them all the same because I knew they were all different. So it's like I was able to figure out this worked with this one, but not with this one. So you can kind of mix things up, and
Yeah. So with the paranormal, I want to go back and revisit this paranormal club at the
right.
school. Is that what you call it, like a paranormal club?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
How on earth does that start at a school?
Well, you need a group of kids interested in it and be able to talk a teacher into helping do it.
And how many teachers did that take?
Just one teacher they had. So, it was, they had their own presidents and, class president, the club president, vice president. So they had the whole system, and the teacher was there to help guide them and help, book places to go and whatever else. So.
Oh, wow. So you'd actually take the kids out on excursions and obviously not during school hours.
No, it'd be at night. Yeah.
Wow. And what did the parents think of that? Were they like, where are you taking my child at night?
Actually, some of the parents did help come attend with it. So that some of the parents had interest in it as well.
Really?
Mhm.
I can't believe that. That's I've never heard of that happening. So for the viewers and listeners and the teachers out there, if you want to start something like this in your school, like that's I love that. And I think it opens up a whole new world for kids at such a young age who fear this, because Hollywood has so much to answer for, doesn't it?
Yeah. They put a lot of fear into pretty much everything.
Yeah. And I think it's great to have them understanding, educated about, like you're saying, about energy, about
Right.
what this could be. So would you have to, when you got evidence, would you have to talk the students through some of it? Like, were they afraid, or were there things that happened that were way beyond their scope of coping?
I wasn't totally involved with that part. I would find on the recordings, whatever, and I would make copies of it and then send it into school with my kids so they could show the teacher and they would review it from there. So I don't know whatever became of it after that.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because then they don't get the chance to freak out at the time. It's just after the fact that they were probably in danger.
I know one of the meters that we use have dots on it. So they light up when they go off. And I had an audio recording from, it was like the very first one that I helped do with them. I had this audio recording of a girl's voice going polka dot, polka dot. And it just kind of trailed off from there. I'm going, okay, that one's kind of interesting. I never heard that before. So we
Wow.
caught a voice playing with the polka dots on the meter.
Jeez. So were you able to then go back and look at the history of that location?
Yeah, a lot of it. I think they already knew some of the history going back already before we went there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I believe there was a girl spirit that is there. If I remember.
Wow. That would be so exciting for the kids to actually get evidence,
Mhm.
and know that they were part of that. Like, oh, I can't even begin to imagine. I've never been like on a paranormal hunt or experience, But
Right.
to go and know that you actually got something, you know what I mean? I guess realistically, it doesn't feel like a waste of time. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yeah.
you want to experience that hair raising. I don't know, it sounds insane for some people. That hair raising. Oh my God, did you just hear or see what happened?
Right. Yeah. I know. I mean, you're not always guaranteed you're going to catch something, but you also will have your own personal experience.
Yeah, yeah. So what sort of equipment do you use for that? Like for catching like do you have all the cameras set up and all the what are they? I don't even know what they're called. The
Audio recorders. Yeah. But
That
yeah.
must take hours to go through.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're using an audio recorder, if you use more than one and you're out at a place for like 3 hours, so now you're not only listening to 3 hours of audio on one, but now you're doing two, three, or four different audio recorders. So you could be like 12 hours worth of audio that you're listening to.
Wow. And can you listen to that on fast forward? Like speed it up just a little bit?
I usually try to listen to it at just regular speed because sometimes you might hear just something real quick. And if you're listening to it a little bit faster, you might actually miss it.
Yeah.
Now video, I will speed up the video just a little bit because I can watch it a little better. So if I do see something, I was like, what was that? And I'll stop it and rewind it and play
Yeah.
it. And,
That's a lot of commitment, isn't it? That is a lot of dedication.
oh, yeah.
And I guess really no one wants to have to be that person that goes through all that footage. But it would be rewarding when you catch it.
Yeah. I usually take it upon myself to sit down and just start listening to it. I might do like an hour and a half, 2 hours a night, and then just keep listening to it. And then
Yeah.
if I hear something, I'll have my son listen to it. It's like, here, listen to this. Tell me. So it's like we can kind of, oh yeah, or I mean, I will sit and if I hear something, I will sit and listen to that clip like 4 or 5, 6 times. Just am I hearing what I thought I heard, or is it, I'm like my biggest critic when it comes to that because I want to make sure that this is something, or no, it's not something.
Yeah. And how do you, like a lot of people, I know there's naysayers out there and people that don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
How do you debunk a lot of this stuff or can you not?
A lot of it I can. Um, you know, Still might hear something, but if you go and you're with them and they say they're hearing it, but you actually hear like the furnace running or something out, yeah. So there's different things that will actually make it sound like something else. Uh, I was at a place where one of the people were saying they were feeling the floor running, but I could also hear something running in the basement. I think maybe that's what's making the floor vibrate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I guess you really do have to be open-minded to that, don't you?
Mhm.
To understand that, okay, hang on a minute, what else is happening in this environment? Yeah. So what's the weirdest thing or the strangest, creepiest, scariest thing you've ever seen or heard from a hunt?
I have seen a shadow figure,
Really?
which was really cool. And shortly after I saw it, I didn't say anything to the other people that were with me at the time. And the guy that was sitting in front of me, like 5 minutes later, I see him going, and he's looking. I was like, "Did you see something?" He goes, "Yeah, I just saw something pass." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I did too a little bit ago." So he saw something then also. So I mean, you just saw a shadow just pass, and I was like, and of course, no cameras or anything facing that way. So it was a person that likes
Damn.
kids. Um, I have heard my name whispered.
Ooh.
Yeah,
After the fact or at the time?
it was I was at the time I was in a hallway talking with one of our members, and it was during a public investigation. I was talking with one of our members and one of the attendees, and I heard my name whispered, but I continued talking. And when we were done talking, I looked at the other member. I was like, "You didn't just whisper my name, did you?" He goes, "No." Like, okay. And of course, didn't have a recorder on me at the time, so I again, another personal experience. Yeah.
Bugger. Oh, you must just feel like so kicking yourself when that happens.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So I actually have now a launch recorder,
Ah,
so I can be recording all the time with me.
yeah, good thinking. Oh, wow. And that would be it's almost, it gets to a little bit to that point, doesn't it? Where it's like, do you set yourself up with a GoPro, like a
Right.
body cam? And like you said, now you've got a watch recorder, and just to make sure that no matter what happens, no matter where you are, that equipment is always running.
Yep. And you'll still miss something.
Oh, do you
Uh,
think sometimes they don't want to be caught?
uh, I don't know so much that. I do believe that they're in a different visual range than what we can see. So they're like right outside of that, and their voices also just be right outside of our hearing. So that's why we use our equipment with the recorders, because it'll pick up outside of what we can normally hear. And as far as video, most of the time we use infrared, which is at the lower end of the light spectrum. But we tend to sometimes use ultraviolet, which would be at the higher end. So sometimes you get lucky and you might catch something.
Yeah. So with the two different lights, like the ultraviolet and the infrared, does the infrared would pick up something that would be more like, is it heat or temperature?
Uh, it probably is, because we use also thermal cameras, which use infrared technology, and they produce the heat signatures. So I like to use that sometimes too.
Yeah, right. So I have a question for you. Well, in one of my many questions that I've already asked, but this one's more, when people say they feel a spirit
Mhm.
and the room gets icy cold, why does it get icy cold?
That's a good question.
And I don't expect you to know the answers, because I know there's some answers that no one really technically knows.
Right. I mean, you think about this field, everything is based on theory to begin with, because nobody really knows scientifically.
Yeah. Because, like when we do mediumship, some
Mhm.
mediums will say they get really cold when spirit steps in. I get incredibly hot, as in sweating from every pore in my body like you would not believe. Like total extreme opposite to what other people feel. So that's where I sort of start to think, okay, so is it spirit based? As in, when a spirit is like, when you're on a hunt and a spirit comes into your space, do you think maybe that the temperature difference is it a contributing factor of they are perhaps a more of a lower energy, and the heat maybe that they're a higher energy? Like, have you found any differences there?
Uh, I mean, I personally will start to think that it could be based on your own perspective.
Right. How
I
we receive that energy.
right.
Yeah.
Because with the paranormal, a lot of times they've been saying for the longest time how the cold spots are a sign. So that's already now embedded into people's heads.
Yeah.
You know, you yourself feel warmth when you're doing it. So yeah, I think it could now be based on your perspective, how you feel.
Yeah. That's a good point. I never thought of that, actually. Because, you hear all the time, you watch these shows, oh, the room suddenly got cold. And I just think, okay, so if they're feeling that cold, is that then sort of a more a negative entity? Or do you know what I mean? Like, to
Right.
opposed to if an angel walked through, like when you go on these hunts, do you see angelic figures, or are they all just, is everybody going with the intention, therefore, like you say, their perspective is and their thoughts, to see something, I don't know, scary?
It's a good possibility. And with the heat and the cold again, it's just because I think they've linked like the warmth to the negative and the cold to the higher. So that's where things are. But again, I think it's a lot of your own perspective.
Yeah. And how do you tell the difference between something that, like, I watch a lot of these shows and, I just think, how do they know this? But how do they know that's certain? How do you know the difference between something that might be, say, an energy imprint, how it just continues on a loop and it just keeps going and
Right.
going, to an actual spirit that's there?
A lot of times with the imprints, they just replay on loop and will not interact with you at all. So it's going to happen whether you're there or not. Whether you're there to see it or not, it'll happen. So it just kind of replays on a loop. So there's
Yeah.
like no physical interaction at all. Or the other ones they would consider it intelligent, or they could interact with you, or.
Yeah, right. So when it's on a loop, does that mean, like, so would the best way to be able to ascertain whether it's on a loop or not, to go there, if you went there, say, let's just say some people were saying, at 10 o'clock every night, you'll notice a guard in an old jail will walk down the hallway. Same time every night, same, does the same.
Mm-hmm.
Would you then need to go, okay, let's determine whether that's the case, and we'll go there multiple nights in a row, same time, and see if that happens again. Is that
Right.
someone who's stuck in a loop or like
Yeah.
an energy imprint?
Yeah, that would be definitely stuck in a loop. That it's a consistent time frame that it happens,
And then therefore that you would not be able to interfere with that, as in get it to communicate with you, like it would not be coherent in that way.
right. It's just the energy that's there. It's just that energy's just stuck. Near us we have Gettysburg, which was one of the bloodiest battles during our Civil War, and there's a lot of energy there that is just stuck on a loop that will replay over and over again.
Wow. And correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't make a difference what happens in that space. It's the land. It's not like if someone built a house, that will still happen regardless of what's put on that land, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I have also realized that Gettysburg, the bedrock at Gettysburg, is also a lot of quartz. So that
Oh,
alone is holding all that energy.
wow. And that amplifies the energy?
Yeah.
Then, now see, my mind's just going in all different directions now.
That's how I feel.
So not only does it amplify the energy, it then hold, would you think, more potential to open up to different realms or portals?
I would think so. The place that I like to go camping is like a half hour's drive from Gettysburg and has the same thing with the quartz. There's a lot of quartz in that area. And we've had a lot of interesting things happening while camping. Because we,
Hmm.
we, we camp in primitive sites that were away from people. And yeah, it's had some interesting things happen. And it's always something different.
Yeah, right. Do you think that they know when you're coming?
If you put that intention out before you go, yeah. Yeah, they're one of the campsites we go to. Um, when you walk into the site and around the corner, there's what I call the fairy ring because there's this big round area that's green, and at the one edge is a small boulder. When I first started going there, I would start putting a crystal on that boulder every time. And a couple times where I put it out there that I was coming back to that campsite, there were crystals waiting on the gate to that site when I came back.
I just got goosebumps. Really?
Yeah, twice that happened.
Oh. So there's a lot of people I'd say that don't believe in fairies. Are like, really? How do you determine, like, do you have to have a trained eye to see a fairy ring, or is it blatantly obvious when you see one?
I think that was just blatantly obvious. As soon as I rounded that corner, I was like, oh, look, a fairy ring. It just came right out.
Wow. So is it a sacred space that you shouldn't enter, or something that you know what I mean? Like, you don't step in it, or what, like, is there a special way that you treat them?
Definitely don't step through it. We would walk around it. We never walked through it. But I mean, we've sat around it and did what's called an Estes method, which you're using a spirit box and with headphones and a blindfold. So you're cutting out your visual and hearing to be able to get messages. So we've had some interesting things happen during that.
Oh, do tell. Just give me a sample.
The first time that we did it around there, I had my brother-in-law was using it, and the first thing he said was, "Look up," and I'm going, "Okay, at what?" And he said, "My people." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." So it was just, wow. So we're not talking to anything but an alien here now, yeah?
Yeah. And do you do this at night time or during the day?
At night, usually.
Oh, see, that scared the shit out of me. I'd be like, no. I'm good during the day, but in a foreign place at night time, I don't know. I don't know. I just, it'd be touch and go. I'd have to have someone in front of me and behind me. So if anything happened, it would take those people first. So it's like the safest in the middle.
One of the last times that we went camping, now this would be a different site. It was that dark, you couldn't see each other standing next to each other. And we had groups of three that went out from the campsite and we split up. All three groups at one point in time had seen a light bouncing around. So it's like when I saw it to begin with, I had to radio up to camp and ask if somebody was walking down the trail because it looked like a headlamp coming down the trail. And they said no, but then my son said that they were seeing a light also where they were. But now the two other people that were with me could not see the light that I was seeing. And when I stopped seeing that light, one of the other people that was with me asked me what it looked like again. And I told him, and he goes, "Oh," so he started to see the light then. So it's like the three of us saw the same light, but at a different time.
Yeah. And that's pretty evidential within itself, isn't it? That sort of concretes the fact that, okay, there is something out there.
Right. Yeah, I had my thermal camera with at the time, and I looked through it and couldn't see anything. And not once did I think to pull my phone out and go, "Oh, look, I can record it." It was
It's always the way.
just like, wow, look at that. Yeah.
And so what was it? Do you know, did you have a feeling or a...
No idea. Well, all I know is Julie asked for everybody to be able to see the lights that she was seeing the night before. So we all
Julie's
started.
fault.
We all saw some type of light that night.
Yeah. And is it not the old rule of thumb that we've learnt from horror movies? Never split up. You never split up. When someone goes, "Oh, let's split up." No, we know what happens when that happens. It's a bad idea.
That's when things start to get interesting at this campsite, is when we do split up.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we've had rocks thrown.
Oh. So does that feel like negative if that happens? Do you feel threatened?
I think it's more of a, hey, we're here. Don't come any closer. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel spots in the where you're camping where you feel like, okay, you know what, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to go there. Like, are there spots like that where, okay, this feels good? Do you sort of feel into that energy when you know it's around?
Yeah. I've had like spots where I walk past, it's like, you can just feel the eyes watching as long as you stay on the trail, but you can still feel like you're being watched. And there was another spot where I was walking with Julie down towards a creek, And I just stopped at the creek. She goes, "What are you feeling?" It's like we're not supposed to go over there. It just felt like that creek was like the barrier and do not cross.
Yeah. Did something happen on the land there? Like why does this happen in certain spots? What's the reason behind it?
I mean, again, there's so much quartz in that area. I think that has a lot to do with the energy there. And I think things are just attracted to that.
Okay, so let's expand on the things. The
I,
things are attracted to that.
I will say beings. People like to use like creature or monster. I don't like that. So now you're putting a negative spin on things that probably aren't negative. Yeah, but yes, beings. I don't know fully what's there. We haven't fully accomplished that. Now, my brother-in-law and they have seen a possible Bigfoot there.
Yeah.
They saw something that got their attention and it turned and walked right into the woods. But
It's
it
funny
was
you mentioned, sorry, go on.
but it was dark, so it was more of a shadow that the shadowy type figure that they saw walk into the woods.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Bigfoot because, when Julie said to me a little while ago, "Oh, I'm going Bigfoot hunting," I was like, "What? Are you serious? Like, come
Hmm?
on. Seriously, people do that?" And she's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, yeah. I thought it was just a fable, just, something that people say, just, comical. I did actually think and realize it was an actual thing that people do and an actual creature, or is it a creature or is it a realm, or like how do you describe that?"
well, I believe that it's an intelligent being. I think it's a higher vibrational being than what we are. So it's like right at that border that it can raise its vibration and out of our sight and hearing range, or just be right at that edge.
Yeah, right. Because
But
Julie showed me photos after she went,
mhm,
and I was like, yeah, okay, I see where she's coming from now. I see this.
I mean, you guys have your own version now. You have the Yowie.
Yeah, and I actually, and again, funny you're saying this because I stumbled across an interview from an Australian guy who was interviewing someone in Australia
Hmm.
about, yes, the Yowie, but he was also talking about Bigfoot
Right.
being out in the bush here. And I'm like, what? In Australia? But this guy talks about Bigfoot being from a different dimension
Right.
and that will come and go.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are saying it's like a dimensional, but it could be like a frequency thing. Because, if your frequency's higher, I guess you would be like a different dimension. I mean,
Yeah.
I've known people that, or at least heard of a lot of people that would just get bumped into all the time and say, "Oh, it happens all the time." Those people are usually suffering from like depression and are very low vibration. That if somebody's vibrating a little higher, really didn't see them because they're difference in the.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. So out in that area where you camp, you've got Bigfoot going on there, you've got fairies.
Mhm.
So would you say it's an area, or could you say this across all land, that there are just a varying range of portals? I know you said there's quartz there, so yes, that may amplify it. But would you say that across all land there is, to one extreme or another, different portals and energies, and could we say gateways or doorways to other worlds?
Yeah, I believe so.
Mm.
Yeah, even when you have like the missing 411 that they have, where people just like disappear out of nowhere, they could have very well just stepped through one of those doorways and even just be like a time separation that they could have jumped time because they've had many times where they were looking for those people and looked in one area, went somewhere else, and came back to this other area and actually found belongings of the person they were looking for, but not the person. So, in that bit of a difference, so, they found stuff, but still not the person. So, if they were like at a different time range,
That's interesting.
just things that go through my head, what if? It's always what if.
Yeah. And it's not, look, I agree with what you're saying. It's not impossible, where people think, oh, that's just ridiculous. Well, I don't know, is it? Because, there have been sightings of even time slips,
Yeah,
when someone, is there a place in, I want to say England somewhere on a certain street or area where a lot of people have suddenly felt and started to see people around them wearing period clothing, or
right.
gone into a bookstore and suddenly it's like they've stepped back in time and everything's changed and then come back out of it. I mean, what do you call that? It's possible, it's documented, and it's happened to multiple people.
Yeah, I mean, we normally look at timing as being linear, but it's a wave. So you have the past, present, and future all running at the same time. So those times we could have merged with the past at that point in time and saw that. And
Yeah.
it's just a never-ending thing.
Such a rabbit hole subject, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm there. Pull me in.
I know, exactly. And like I say, it's the more you question things, and the more the questions I have, and then you answer. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. So let's just go back to the fairy thing.
All right.
Is it true that fairies are mischievous and can be sometimes a little bit like tricksters? Is that true? Would you believe that?
I would, yeah.
So they're not
No,
someone that you would cross?
I wouldn't cross any of those beings.
Yeah. But are fairies are they good? Like, could you consider them? I don't
I
know.
think they could be like us and be, just have that same kind of mindset as we do. You have people that are just angry, or people that,
Yeah, because we look at Tinkerbell, and she's so
mm,
so innocent and sweet, and then you
but she
hear,
does have a mean streak to her, though.
well, yes, she does get a lot of jealousy. This is true. This is true with Peter Pan. I do agree with that. She does, but you sort of think of them as though they're pretty and nice, and then you hear stories and you think, oh, they actually sound like they could be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit cunning, a little bit cutthroat
Right.
if they had to be. I just think they're not all Tinkerbells, that's for sure.
Yeah. I know my data healing instructor, he was saying that if you have like the shiny jewelry, if you have something that goes missing, it's usually the fairies that took it. So he said, start leaving out like sweet liquor for an offering.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like a trade-off?
Kind of, yeah.
See, if something goes missing here in Australia, we say it's the magpies because they love shiny things, but it could be fairies. Yeah, wow. Because I have heard people leave offerings out for fairies and
Right.
build little areas in their gardens where they intentionally invite them in, and again leave little offerings and set up little scenes and have a little sacred space. But then I think, well, if they're sort of a little bit mischievous and trickstery, why would you want to invite them in?
Well, your garden, you got your garden. That's what you want. You want your garden to grow. So you were having the garden fairies come to help with that.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, that's a reasonable theory. I can go with that.
My sister and brother-in-law have done that in their garden. They had a nice little fairy house set up and everything for them. So,
Yeah. I mean, it is cute, and it's nice to think that there could be fairies there and whatnot. But look, in saying that, and I'm not saying none of this exists. I'm so not saying that. Like I said, I've seen the photos Julie took when she went out Bigfoot hunting once,
mhm.
and there was multiple photos. She didn't say anything. She just sent them to me, and her well, you guys are in America, so her daytime was the middle of my night. So by the time I wake up in the morning and I receive these photos with no context, it's just there's photos, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, my God, there's a face there. There's a gnome-like face there. And what the hell is that over there in the photo? And they're just photos, just random photos of, what do you call it? The forest. We call it the bush, the forest over there. And there was so much going on in that photo and in multiple photos. And it kind of had an eerie feel to it. Like, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's not somewhere I'd go, oh, I definitely want to go there. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
had that, like, an overshadowed darkness to it. I don't know.
It's like you're being watched very carefully. Yeah.
Wow. And maybe this
We're out
is where
in the
people
woods
go
in the
missing.
yeah, we're out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. It's their domain. You must respect that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. How do you find these places? Like, don't give websites away, but like, is it word of mouth, or is there, is it a known paranormal thing?
It's the places we go camping. It started as a word of mouth with my brother-in-law.
Yeah, right.
Him and my sister were part of the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. They were investigators to there, and he was running expeditions there, and they had invited me to one, and I've been doing it since. And it was the area we go to. So we
Yeah.
going back to this area because it was just such a interesting area.
Yeah. And so when you say interesting, as in high evidence?
Just just the things that have happened, and every time you go, or again, leaving with more questions than answers.
And that's what keeps you going back for more.
Absolutely.
Wow. Can I go back to, I've got this fascination that's growing with, people talk about shadow people, the Hat Man, Bigfoot, the Yowie, all sorts of weird and wonderful creatures. What is a shadow figure? What is that?
Well, the theory is it's not a fully formed figure, but it's there. You can see it. Um, some people will say that it's not a good thing, but that also depends on your perspective. I did not feel threatened by what I saw. I saw it. Oh, cool. Yeah. Of course, no camera or anything, but again, I just think sometimes people really put a lot of bad on things that shouldn't be.
Yeah. Do you think that they are a spirit of someone who was once living, or are they on a total different scale?
I believe it was. This place that we were at used to be an old carriage shop where they made carriages and stuff back in the 1700s and stuff.
So when you go to these places in your hunting, in your investigating, are they residences that are still lived in, or are they abandoned?
Mostly that especially Julie and I have been doing. They've been lived in. They're currently lived in. So we are basically going and working with that person. We've been finding a lot of the times it's the person themselves that has something that needs to be healed in them.
Really?
Yeah.
So what does that entail? As in, they are attracting something, or it's a manifestation from them?
Probably a little of both.
Wow.
They're lowering their vibration enough that things are attaching to that, but they're also exuding that out.
So therefore, it grows whatever's attached.
Right. And then you have the people that suffer. It's a paraphilia. I can't pronounce that right, but it's they will start seeing things that aren't there. They will continue to keep looking. And,
Like paranoia? No?
kind of. Yeah, it's there's a specific term for it. I know I can never pronounce it right, But they will just keep continuing to look for that. Um, their brain, like that reaction that they got from the first time, so now they are constantly looking for more things to be paranormal that aren't.
So what do you do with that?
We just try to work with that person to get. It's like, this is what it is. You don't have anything to fear. But,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's a perception. You just try to get them to start to view it differently.
yeah. So you kind of then become a bit of a counselor.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, how do you just gently tell someone, look, you're the problem. Your house isn't haunted. It's you. And you can't run from yourself.
Right. And we don't just come out and say it like that. It's more of, well, let's work with you to, so we'll try to work with them and do some healing work with them and try to get them to start changing that perspective on how they're viewing things. It's like, if you start to, it's why people like to go to haunted attractions. That chemical reaction that happens with their brain. It's like, ooh, let's have fun. Let's go do it again. No, there's other things you can do that cause that same reaction. That doesn't have to be that. So you
Wow.
just have to flip that switch to view it the other way.
Yeah. You just put a whole bunch of new thoughts into people's minds now.
Welcome.
As in, like they probably think, oh, my auntie's house is haunted. Now they're probably thinking, I knew she was crazy. I knew there was something about her. It's her. It's not the house. We've been blaming the house all these years.
Right.
But there are cases that it is actually there could be a haunting or there is something there.
Yeah. I mean, I believe the spirits are around us all the time. So
Yeah. But
I don't think it matters where you go. There's probably still something there.
yeah. If that doesn't bring a lot of people discomfort and not so much joy anymore, then I'm sorry to that you're hearing it here, but they're everywhere. You can't run, you can't hide. But in saying that, though, for the comfort and safety of everybody out there, like attracts like. Would you agree with that? You're like a magnet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're negative, you're a negative Nancy and you're always poo-pooing on everybody's parade and you've got negative self-talk to yourself, you're going to attract that kind of, do we say, energy back into your life.
Yes.
But if you're positive and you're happy, then it's all I guess you could say higher beings, higher vibration, higher energy, which is usually where a medium works. I can't speak on behalf of everybody in the world, but for the people that I know, that's the level that we work on. And that would be, I guess, where you guys, a good explanation would be where healing comes from when you do healing.
Right.
It's that higher vibration. You're looking at that higher frequency. So do you actually do then healing with the occupant of the house?
Yep.
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 So that would go hand in hand then, really great with investigating. It's not an actual spirit, it's the person.
Right.
Let's get the person healed.
Yep. Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes you might have somebody that has to do it themselves. It's like, we can keep doing this for you. It keeps coming back. You need to do something. We will give you the tools to do it. You have to be the one to do it.
Yeah. It becomes a case of you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got.
Right.
Until they change. Yeah, that makes total sense. Absolutely. And I guess and like you say, it's good that you're helping to educate these people. Because a lot of people, the average person doesn't know where to start. Well, what do I do with this? I've never heard of this. How is this happening? What, you're saying it's me? What? Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I just had a whole
Yeah.
scenario in my head. Anyway.
I've one of the first things, if somebody calls me about doing an investigation, one of the first questions I ask them is, what changed in your life?
Oh, yeah. Good question.
Yeah, because if they didn't have any problems beforehand, all right, so what changed in your life that now all of a sudden you have something?
Yeah. That's the big one, isn't it? That is
Yeah,
huge. Yeah. Well, what changed at the time everything else started changing? And you find that with so many people, whether it's, again, stepping into spiritual modalities, it's usually a trauma or a death or some huge shift that's happened for someone, isn't it?
yeah, the traumas are a big one. Yes.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? I find it just so fascinating how someone can go through a trauma well, so many people can go through different traumas and traumas are on all different levels. And again, like you say, perceptions and coping mechanisms and skills and so on for the unique individual, but how some people can shift and turn to become, for example, a medium or a healer and see that, you know what I mean? They look to heal themselves or to find something within in themselves, and they find something beautiful out of the trauma.
Right.
Or, like you say, you get the other people, those that will then start attracting negativity.
Right. They're a lot of times tend to hold on to that. We have feelings. It's okay to feel it. Just don't hold on to it. Feel
Yeah,
it and let it go. The more you hold
yeah.
on to it, it's going to keep pulling you down.
And do you find that it's more the anger in someone, the resentment or hate that is more pronounced in those sort of people that attract that negative energy?
I don't know. That's a good question here. Um,
Yeah,
so I think it'll vary from person to person, really.
yeah, yeah. Because I just, like I find all that fascinating. I should have been a researcher, someone who does studies. So if this many people this happened to, and this many people, but it's just so interesting to you hear people's, and I hear a lot of stories,
Mhm.
and that's probably where this comes from. I hear a lot of stories, and you hear so many absolute tragic stories, and out of that, like a phoenix, they rose from the ashes and they
Right.
came back bigger and more brilliant than ever, beyond their wildest dreams.
Right.
And then you
Yeah.
get some people that are just crushed forever.
Yeah. I kind of went through it myself. Yeah. Before I started the healing work that I do, I had just recently broke up with a girlfriend, and I was just angry. I didn't realize about the empath thing. I was just taking on so much anger in that house, and I was angry all the time. And when we were done, I was looking for something because I knew I needed it, and that's how I found the theta healing. As I was learning about that and reading about it, going, yeah, I need that. So I started going having sessions on myself, and then learning Reiki and doing the theta healing myself. And so it's like all that just totally changed my perception of everything.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful discovery when it happens. And it's
Right.
such a big shift, isn't it? And you can look back at where you were to how far you've come, but you also see the dots that join in between as to that needed to happen for me to get to here.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I was already doing the paranormal work at that point in time. But then, when I started doing the healing work, and everything just changed.
Yeah. So for the viewers and listeners, in your own words, because I understand there's a foundation of healing practices or anything really, any modality, but in your own words, what is theta healing?
The theta healing is actually a brainwave that you work with. You yourself, when you do your mediumship work, actually put yourself into a theta brainwave. And during that theta healing, you're not only putting yourself into that brainwave, but you're putting the client in that brainwave as well, and being able to do healing work on a quantum level. So you're able to heal belief systems that go from core beliefs to genetics, and you can heal people's family tree plus or minus 7 generations with this. And it just helped me so much with that. And, and knowing that at any point in time, that I can change that belief back.
Yeah.
But, once that belief's changed, now you were responsible for it and you keep it there.
Yeah. And that's such a beautiful, deep method of healing, theta healing.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that, to be able to change 7 generations back.
Right.
I mean, you look at the history of some families and it's like a bloody war zone. You know what I mean? It's a battlefield on all fronts. And, you start to see, as children, how did you even survive some of these things?
Right.
So to be able to go back and heal that 7 generations back is huge. Huge. Yeah.
And whatever you heal also affects the next 7 generations.
Yeah. I love that. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yes.
You're now bringing to fruition all this healing for the future. It's beautiful. Oh, I love it. So tell us a little bit, Brian, about you. Do you have, correct me if I'm wrong, a paranormal society or something going on there?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I had started it after the group that I was initially with. The founders decided to just go down to the 2 of them. I was in charge of the group for a while, and there were so many things that I wanted to do, but I kind of felt tied. But then they decided that they were just going down to the 2 of them. So now I'm like, all right, now I can do what I want to do. We'll start a whole new group. I pulled most of the other members from that group with me, and also pulled my sister and brother-in-law with me, and a couple of my kids with me to start forming this group. So now we have a nice group. We can go out and do stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And it must be such a nice feeling to know that you've got family in that group too, and they're all sharing those experiences.
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I guess that's something that you can eventually leave for them to carry on for their kids, and so on and so on and so forth.
Yeah, if they're interested.
Yeah. And just there's that openness, that understanding, and that learned respect and education for the spirit world and the worlds that are around us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Brian, for joining me here today and sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, your stories. And I'm sure after this, I'll walk away and I'll be like, damn it, I should have asked that question. Oh, and I need to know about that too. So,
For a later date.
So no doubt I'll have you back again with a list of questions, and this will be called Q&A with Brian.
I look forward to it.
Where can people find you, Brian?
We have a Facebook page. It's Mystical Researchers and Investigator Society.
Yep.
The email is mysticalris825@gmail.com. And
Excellent.
right now we do not have a website yet, so
that's all right, as long as people can find you and contact you. So can they contact you if they have something going on in their house? Do you
Absolutely.
run? Yeah. So you'll go out and investigate. Do you run, like if someone said, I want to book a tour or a ghost hunt or a paranormal night, do you guys do that as well?
Those are things that are going to be in the works.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that. If we ever make it over there, I want the scariest, biggest, most active place, and that will be part of my experience when I come to America.
One, it's about a half-hour drive from my house.
Oh, really? Oh, now I'm intrigued. Well, book me in, I say. Book me in now. Thank you so much, Brian, for being on the show with me today, and I look forward to having you back again very soon. To view the show notes, head over to themediumstable.com.au. If you want to watch these episodes, head over to our YouTube channel, The Medium's Table Podcast.